Hey, what's going on, friends? My podcast every day is broken up into 2 parts on the free platform. The first part, Act 1, is right now. When it's all done, go right on over to Act 2 to get the second half of the podcast. Thank you so much for checking out my show. And hello to you all. Welcome into another edition of the Eric Zane Show podcast. Daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures from right here in the Impact Power Sports studio. Impact Power Sports, you can find them online at impactpowersportsmi.com. Fantastic place to shop for a brand new Yamaha golf cart, custom made if you want, whatever you like. You can have it painted in any particular scheme, put any types of wheels on it that you want, gas powered, propane powered, up to you. You can also shop for ATVs, UTVs, side-by-sides, e-bikes, motorcycles, go-karts, scooters. They've got them all at Impact Power Sports along 14 Mile Road in Rockford, Michigan. I put my voice to the test yesterday during the Grand Rapids Griffins hockey game. As I'm walking into the arena, Sean Horkoff and Dan Cleary are walking in as well. How's your voice? I go, well, boy, it's funny you mentioned. Or he said, hey, you ready? You ready to fire him up? And I'm like, yeah, I've, and I bust out my cough drops that I eat like fucking candy. And Dan Cleary goes, I don't even want to hear it. I don't want to. It's a playoffs. You play hurt. I'm like, I know. I'm over it, I think. At least I thought at the time. So, out of 5 speeds, I can get through 4, no problem, on my throat, on my voice. You get into that 5th gear, though, and it really, I could tell that it was, there was something going on there. And minutes after I first barked something out on the mic with a little bit of intensity, I realized that I am not 100%. And so I did the game, and I was coughing up a storm after I got wound up a couple of times and said something onto the mic. Then, like today, these are all the wrappers of how many of these things I've eaten today. It's ridiculous. My teeth are going to rot out of my head. The urge to cough is intense. So I'm back to just chowing on these things. So I'm going to sound like this for the rest of this show. Now, the hockey team was an unequivocal disaster. I will say this. This hockey season, though they're in the playoffs, and they had a reasonably decent season. It started out really hot, and they really eased off the gas, it seems like. There was a lot of things that went on that may have led to that. But for one reason or another, I have never witnessed more games in a season where they just completely fell off the map. It's like they didn't even put on their skates. There's probably been 10 games where I've been like, what the fuck? And last night was one of them. I mean, this was a absolute disaster. They ended up getting bombed 4-0. It could have been 10-0. The Texas Stars are the team. One of my buddies with the hockey team had to wander into their locker room to drop something off to one of the coaches or something like that. And he came out of there, and he gets on the little radio that we have, and he says, those guys are pissed. They are really, really tightly wound and ready for business. And we're like, holy shit. So, and the Griffins, I guess, I don't know. I don't know how this works. But we just got the shit kicked out of us. By the end of the first period, it's 2-0, and everybody knew it was over. No shot. Go into the second period. Texas gets 2 more. It's 4-0. We pulled our goalie. There's nothing worse than that. That's a hard thing to do if you're the goalie and they take you out in the middle of the period. Oh, God. After the first period, we gave up 2 goals. And if you're the coach, you got to say, look, if I pull you now, that's a bad look. If I pull you in the middle of the next period, that's a bad look. So, one of these 2 things could happen if things break bad. Anyway, that's that. The only thing worth talking about from that game. Hold on a quick second. Hey, no, don't lick the couch. During the game, there's a guy from their team. First name R2. Last name Huru. Hockey players. A lot of foreign-born players. You're going to get some fucking crazy names. R2 Huru. He's sitting right next to me. He got called for a minor penalty. Stars penalty on number whatever. R2 Huru. 2 minutes for interference at 4:20. Huru. 2 minutes for interference at 4:20. Whatever. Low-hanging fruit being grabbed off the tree by Nick and Tyler by suggesting his last name would be D2. I take one look at him. He's sitting there for 2 minutes. I'm done talking. I'm done announcing the penalty. I go, R2 Huru. What is that? Now, what do you think what do you think I meant by that? And I think he knew what I was asking. But I felt like a first-class fuckface when he said my name. And all the other off-ice officials, I got the timekeeper. I got the penalty box coordinator. I got the timeout coordinator. They all go, ha, ha, yeah, he got you. And I'm like, fuck you. And dude's just looking at me, laughing in my face. I'm like, yeah, that's cute, R2. And I said, no, R2. What I meant, and I had to re-ask it. He makes me re-ask it. And I go, no, R2. I meant was, where are you from? What is your heritage? And he goes, Finnish. And I'm like, great. And I'm thinking to myself, now was that so fucking hard? Is it really such a, I guess it would be kind of fun to make somebody feel like an asshole. I should know this. I do it all the time. That's right in my playbook. But I'm here to say that I don't like it when people do it for me or do it to me, So I would just like it to make it where, I can do it to you, but you can't do it to me. That's how I think it should go. But I know it doesn't work that way. Kind of little the shoe is on the other foot. It's not that fun, but I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing. All right. So that's it. Now, the the Texas team, these guys are taking a fucking vacation because they're driving. They jumped on a bus after the game, and they went up to Traverse City. So they're staying in Traverse because we don't play again in Grand Rapids until Monday. So the Texas team stays in Michigan the whole goddamn week. That's pretty classic American Hockey League playoff scheduling. It's the dumbest thing in the world. So 6 days until the next game. 6 days until the Griffins try to figure this fucking thing out. That was so bad. All right. welcome into the show. So glad you're here. Successful day of broadcast on Q100. Successful day of voice tracking on Big 101.3. The oldie station in town here. Nothing really interesting to report. Tomorrow is a Big Fraud Thursday. I'll be doing the show with Ben Glaze. 2 shows, actually. Who Are These Free Beers will commence. I have yet to even pull one clip. I will hopefully have some of that done today or tomorrow. I better. The show's tomorrow. As Ben Glaze and myself will be reviewing various moments from recent Free Beer and Hot Wings shows and talking about it. One of the things that has come up has been, I don't even know if I would have pulled it, but Ben pulled it. So we will be talking about it. So I guess this kind of is a preview of the show. Late last week, Thursday and Friday, Greg, and Ben might be here enjoying the show right now for me to talk, because I have a theory about what's going on here. And I might as well share it right now to help promote Who Are These Free Beers tomorrow on Patreon, which you can get for free, by the way, if you go to patreon.com/Eric Zane. They did a live show in Grand Rapids on Friday at, it's called GLC Live at 20 Monroe. It's a fantastic little venue where everything's kind of on top of everything. And it's a fucking great joint. Awesome room. And they're doing their live show there. Now, there's probably 2,500 seats that are there. And they damn near sold all of them. And they've always sold it out. It's fucking incredible. For one reason or another, they were like 100 tickets away from selling it out. Or I think it was 250 when they first talked about it. And they had a story arc last year, which is really cool. If you're an act that sells out the goddamn joint, the venue, one of the cinder blocks on the cinder block wall, they'll paint it white, and then they'll put your logo on it of your band or your act or whatever, and then you sign it. I'm like, holy shit, that is fucking cool. And they accomplished that last year. This year, they fell just short of it. Now, you might think that this is something that I would park on and beat the shit out of them about. But first of all, that would look pretty weird if Guy in his fucking dormer above his garage is insulting a show that's sold 2,400 of 2,500 tickets. It's pretty weak. It's an incredible accomplishment. But Greg is not happy. He's made this apparent because there's a chance they wouldn't sell it out. And my theory is he created a scenario to try to drum up people to buy more tickets, and it fell just short. From Thursday and Friday, he started talking about how he got into a discussion with one of the brass at Town Square Media, and he indicated that the person from Town Square Media said, yeah, in a year, we negotiate your contract, so bad time to not sell out a show, indicating that that would give Town Square some type of leverage in the negotiation. So Greg used that information to try to urge people to, hey, we're not going to let you get away with that. We're going to buy some tickets. And I'm here to tell you that I think 100% that did not happen. There was no, I think it was more like Greg's probably in his own head, and he doesn't want it to be where they're not selling it out, and that actually does bother him. And I could, I guess, understand it, but I don't know why you would be so worked up about that. The economy hasn't been great lately, and it's 100 tickets because when it was all said and done, I think they They were less than 100 till it was sold out. So I think he was using that to motivate people to buy tickets. But he did reveal that it upsets them if they don't sell it out again. And take it from me, your harshest critic. That is nothing to be disappointed about, you fucking childish pussy. Give me a fucking break. God damn it. I mean, I understand being competitive, but that's just fucking ridiculous. Now, if next year it's 500, well, all right, maybe. But not selling 80 or 100 tickets and then losing your fucking shit about it is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And I 100% believe that he concocted a fucking fairy tale in order to motivate the audience. That did not happen. There is no one from Town Square Media who would actually say something as harmful as that to such an important piece of the machinery at Town Square. As much as I bust their balls, they're still on like fucking 25 radio stations of theirs. Why would anybody from Town Square do anything but be polite and accommodating? Nobody would dare do that. So Greg's like starting this so-called war between a fictitious person and the audience. He doesn't name who it is. I'm telling you, that is a made-up scenario trying to dupe the audience. It did not happen. Alan says that's probably why he had his medical episode. He was so upset that they didn't sell out. Yeah, I don't know what happened with the medical episode. I know that he didn't talk about it yesterday. He's in a silly way, he said he got his asshole bleached. But, and I haven't heard yet about my Freedom of Information Act request. God damn it. I'm guessing that they don't want to give it up, so they hope that people like me will just lose interest over time. But I got to hear that 911 call saying whatever the fuck is wrong with the Gregster. Can you please get here and come take him away? I got a picture. I got a stalking picture, by the way, yesterday. An audience member took a picture of free beer in his Tesla at the bus stop. Let's see, where is that? This is my first free beer stalking photograph. This audience member will receive a free Eric Zane Show podcast t-shirt and a beer. I'm going to send a beer. That is the Burn King in his Tesla waiting for the kids. We have so many eyes that are on this guy right now. That's got to fucking freak him out. If I'm him, I'm like, Jesus Christ, people are watching me. So I'll say this again. If you see free beer in the wild, I would love to get a video reaction of you going up and introducing yourself and say Eric Zane sends his regards or something like that, and then send it to me. But if you get a still photo, I can go with that too. Man Bun Chris says, why are we spying on him again? Just to fuck with him, frankly. Because people want to know what's up with free beer. He's the only guy that we care about. Rebecca says, why not? Oh, yeah. All audience now, you are on the case. We need free beer paparazzi photos. Rebecca says, why not? It's fun being an agent of chaos. Exactly. All right. For the folks that are watching the show on Facebook and YouTube, thank you so much, but I'm going to kick you out. If you want the full show, you got to go to twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. Download the audio everywhere. Send an email, eric@ericzaneshow.com, on the Shoreliners Striping inbox. Shoreliner striping, they do an awesome job striping parking lots. It's that's their thing, you know? So that's Eric at ericzaneshow.com. You can send an email if you want to chit-chat with your old pal EZ. Patreon.com/Eric Zane. Coming up tomorrow, a Big Fraud Thursday. Sign up for free for 7 days. Patreon.com/Eric Zane. Twitch and Facebook brought to you by Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid and EV. Shout out to them, 616-532-6600. If your car gets, in a bad state, broken down, maybe just need some preventative maintenance, reach out to Irvine's. They're smack dab in the middle of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and they want to help you out. Any type of problem at all with your car, EV, or hybrid, that is 616-532-6600 for Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid, and EV. Man Bun Chris says, I was just asking is all. No, wait a minute. Chris says, yeah, fuck it. Alan says, yeah, because fuck him, that's why. Man Bun Chris says, I was just asking is all. Yikes, guys, LOL. I didn't know if it was related to the 911 call or not. No. Rebecca says, if he wasn't such a twat waffle, he wouldn't care so much. And then Man Bun Chris says, same team, I promise. No, anything that we can do to annoy the Burn King. It's annoyance by 1,000 cuts is how I like to describe it. All right. Trump visited Michigan. Okay, now, the more interesting story here is not so much, it's not so much it's interesting that Trump comes to Michigan to celebrate 100 days. It's the fact that he comes to Michigan and one of his biggest adversaries kisses his ass. And I'm wondering what people on the left are thinking about this. Meeting Trump outside of Air Force One is Gretchen Whitmer. And she gave him a hug. Now, you could go back and you could find example after example of Whitmer just murdering that guy. Hang on, I got to drink this coffee. It's tepid. It's not hot enough. And also Trump has trolled her too. What do you think? Is this a good thing that they can put all that aside and hug on the tarmac? Or is this a bad thing? She went to the Oval Office not long ago. Well, she actually went to the White House for a meeting, and she was whisked into the Oval Office. All right. And she didn't know that she was going to be in there, and it was very awkward. There's photos of her standing by as Trump signs all these executive orders. That's what he does every day. He signs like hundreds of these a day. And there's a photo of her covering up her face with her folder. She didn't want to be seen in the Oval Office. Now, if you think that was an accident that they brought her in for that, you're crazy. They know exactly who she is, and they know exactly what she's about. That's a great troll. We're going to bring you into the Oval Office and witness Trump signing his stupid executive orders, and you got to be there. So she covers her face up. If she was smart, she would have went like the middle finger with a pissed off look on her face. But she didn't do that. Stand by. Chris from Buffalo says, quote, Gretchen, we can put all this behind us with a little blowjob. You'll probably be the best at it. As if Trump were to say that. Holy shit. All right, so people were like, what's going on here? Now, what she was doing there, she's trying to grease the skids for a particular segment of the Michigan population that are supported by this massive Air National Guard base we have in Michigan called Selfridge. It's on the east side of the state, right by Lake Huron. And we have an aging fleet there of A-10 Thunderbolt II Warthogs. So the thought process is she's trying to cozy up to him to get what she wants. And I guess at what cost? Cost, that is. I said cost. The article says about that hug, Whitmer risks backlash from Democrats as she embraces Trump in Michigan. I don't think anybody saw this coming. Trump showed up, and he had a speech at the Air Force Base. And he made an announcement that nothing is going to change at Selfridge. In fact, he is going to stock the Air National Guard base with new fighters. Like, this worked out. She hugs Trump. She loves on Trump. And Trump shows up, and he says, all right, don't worry, we're not shutting anything down with this Air Force base. Like, literally, it's what it was about. And, by the way, everybody gets a new airplane, a new fighter jet. So what happened? The article talks about how Whitmer is a potential 28 presidential candidate, sharing a hug with Trump less than a month after shielding her face in the Oval Office. The embrace between Trump and Whitmer was notable at a time when Americans are increasingly saying Trump's priorities are off and Democrats are agitating for their leaders to take a more confrontational approach to the president. Now, I personally love this. I love that Whitmer is hugging him. I think it's a fly in the ointment that is making both sides go, huh? You know, people that are on the left are like, wait a minute. People on the right, same thing. The new jets at the base will protect a major economic driver for the area for years to come and represent a big win for Whitmer. The governor credited the Oval Office meeting with Trump for securing the base's future. Now, I don't think it's out of the question to wonder if Whitmer had sex with Trump. I mean, she's a beautiful woman. She's like 50 years old, totally hot. And maybe, you know, even though Melania is like one of the hottest women on the planet, maybe he wanted to change the pace. I don't think we can overlook the possibility that Whitmer and Trump had sex. Asked about her hug with Trump, Whitmer chose to describe the encounter differently. She said Trump greeted her first when he stepped off the plane, and he shook hands, and he leaned in to tell me, you know, congratulations, and that I was a big reason that we were making an announcement today, and I was grateful for that. Okay, to me, this shows Trump in a fantastic light. And I think it shows Whitmer in a great light, too. These two put aside whatever and have been able to move the meter. And I think that the people that have been pushed too far to the left and too far to the right, they're the ones scratching their heads. This is proof that people can get along and play nice in the same sandbox. Whitmer said working with him on some issues does not preclude her from criticizing him on others, adding that she's been clear with Trump that his tariffs have been damaging to the state. She said, I had to be there because this was a big, important thing for the state of Michigan. She said now he is going to go off to the rally and say a lot of things I disagree with that I'll fight against, and that's fine. But, my job is to do everything I can for the people of Michigan. Yeah, fuck it. The earlier meeting when she was hiding her face, Whitmer's office said that she was surprised she was brought into the room and that her presence is not an endorsement of the actions taken or statements made at that event when he was signing executive orders. And she's standing right there covering up her fucking face. The Trump-Whitmer embrace evoked an infamous greeting more than a decade ago between Chris Christie, then the Republican governor of New Jersey, and Barack Obama. Weeks before the 2012 election, with Christie and Obama both seeking re-election, the president arrived in New Jersey in the aftermath of the devastating Superstorm Sandy. Obama placed his hand on Christie's shoulder, but angry Republicans labeled it as a hug and suggested it contributed to Republican Mitt Romney's loss to Obama. Yeah, that's just stupid. I love it. I actually hope that they did have sex. I think that should be a regular thing. Like, nothing a little sex won't make go away. A little sex is the remedy that is needed here. That's like makeup sex. I don't know if people do that. Makeup sex. Like, the idea there is you're in a fight with your significant other, and though you're still mad, while enraged, you engage in sex while the anger is still there. Now, I have never done that. That's not a thing. If there's going to be any sex to be had, it would be well after the fact. It would be after the apology has been issued. Not like while the fight is still going on. We don't have that type of adventurous spirit here. All sorts of terrible comments in the chat. I expected that. None of them worth reading. Tophus is back. He had some time away. I think we've learned that it was a combination of things that were bothering Tophus. He was upset because Chris told him to calm his tits. But part of the reason for the being upset was his beloved brother had fallen ill, and he eventually passed, unfortunately. We're all very, very sad about that. So I guess he dealt with that, and then he came back here. So that's cool. Welcome. We have a moratorium on calling you a stupid fat fuck idiot. You've done nothing to deserve those types of horrible terms. But it's also important to know that all those things are true. And but we have no desire to insult you like that because, A, you've done nothing. But B, you're in that kind of like grace period where we welcome you back slowly. Now, there is going to come a time when something ridiculous will happen, and then you will be vilified. And that, just so you know, that's how we show our love here. Man Bun Chris says, when can we play the Stream Elements game? Eric Zane. I don't know. That thing keeps showing up in the chat. I don't really know how to get it off yet. Or do I know how to put the fucking What do you call those codes again? UPC codes? What are those codes that you scan with your phone? You told me once and I forgot. Chris says, I will probably tell you to calm your tits again. QR codes, not XY codes. Just know it's all in good fun and not a total insult. Molly is now leaving us. I don't know what she's doing. She's leaving us. Bye, y'all. See you when I'm back. Are you going on a trip? All right. I want to know if they're replacing the Warthog and getting rid of that jet. I think that I saw what they're going to replace them with. But I forget. It's another high-tech fucking plane. Molly has to go. Someone is trying to use her bank card. That's a bummer. Good God. Yeah, that's a never good. Never good. Real pain in the ass. Hope you get that sorted out. Okay. Also, a story going on that is bubbling under is we have a here in West Michigan, we have a officer-related shooting that is on trial. And you're going to be hearing a lot about this as this case unfolds. And why you're going to hear a lot about this is because when this cop gets acquitted, and I think he is going to get acquitted, but I don't think he should be acquitted, there's a chance that this place is going to burn. The cop in question is a dude named Chris Schur. Now, I am not an expert. All I can go by is what my eyes saw. I'm not going to play you the video because it's that bad. Two dudes pulled over. One guy's drunk. His name's Patrick Loyola. They both speak English as a second language, but I don't think there was any speaking English because the dude was pretty shit-faced, I think, as it would seem to be. It was the middle of the day that the cop pulled him over. Guy gets out of the car. Conversation. Let me see your ID. The Loyola's being weird. After a little bit, he tries to run away. Cop easily catches him and is struggling with him. The cop is trying to get the guy on the ground, and the guy is, it's a draw. So a lot happened there. A lot of woulda, shoulda, coulda, armchair quarterbacking. Again, it's very easy to say this, but the guy had no shoes on, and he's trying to run away. So you have to ask yourself, if he ran away, what is the worst thing that could have happened there? You can just radio in, hey, we got a guy on the loose, and I wasn't able to bring him down, or whatever. But it didn't. It escalated. It ends up going to the ground. Guy is face down. Motorist is face down. Black guy, by the way. White cop is on his back. They're struggling. Taser's going off. It's not effective. You hear the cop say, let go of the taser, let go of the taser. So perhaps the cop is trying to, or the guy on the ground is trying to get at the taser. So you see the cop reach for his pistol, and then he puts one in the back of the guy's head. He's dead. All of it is videoed by the other motorist. And it's one of the worst things you're ever going to see. After 3 years, it finally goes to trial. Day 2 of it was just completed, or day 3. Day 1 was the opening statements and the witnesses. Day 2, testimony on tasers, use of force. Day 3, testimony on use of force as well. And, was it okay for this cop to do this? Now, the prosecution is, of course, he's on trial for murder. So he lost his job, and this is going to determine whether or not he goes to prison for the rest of his life. There is not one black person on the jury. I think that's going to be a problem. We got a lot of fucking hillbillies that live here. And I think there's got to be a pretty good chance that some brainwashed asshole white people are on this jury. Nick in the arena says it's going to be a hung jury. Now, I don't know what that means. I think that means that there's no verdict. And if it's a hung jury, I think that means a mistrial, and then you got to do the whole fucking thing all over again. I don't know. Or it could result in not guilty. And if that's the case, holy shit. This is so bad. I think it's bad that it took this long to come to trial. I mean, you take a look at any other high-profile case, and it's much more quickly things are established. The prosecution, it's a guy named Chris Becker in Kent County. He said, whoa. The idea here is rock-solid case. We've got to get our ducks in a row as to who's going to testify, what pieces of evidence we're going to focus on to determine that this guy is, in fact, guilty. They had an expert on the stand. And I don't know if this is one of those paid witnesses or what for the prosecution. But they had a dude on there on the stand yesterday who is it says, a reasonable officer would not have fired a gun, expert witness says. I'm curious as to what this guy thought would have been a reasonable response. I mean, again, I'm doing this all on face, what I saw. I'm not a cop. I'm not in the heat of battle. I couldn't tell you the first thing what protocol is. I mean, if you're a Grand Rapids cop, is the protocol, if person becomes combative, fight with them, tase them, and if that doesn't work, shoot them. Is that the protocol? I'm going to guess and say that that is not the protocol of the cops. A reasonable officer in a situation similar to Christopher Scher's would not have fired his gun, an expert witness said during testimony in the former GR police officer's second-degree murder trial. In order to use deadly force, in order to justify use of deadly force, it's generally accepted in policing that there has to be imminent threat of death or great bodily harm. That's similar to like my right to use force with a pistol on me. The person, like if I've got my pistol on me and a guy comes up to me and shoves me, not okay for me to use deadly force. If he comes up to me with a knife, I'm going to use deadly force. In order to justify a use of deadly force, it's generally accepted in policing that there has to be an imminent threat, said Seth Stoughton, a professor at the University of South Carolina's Law School. In my opinion, that was lacking in this case, he said. Like, if it were flipped, if Scher was on the bottom, okay, and the bad guy or the driver had a knife and was about to plunge it into him, and the cop, like, reached and got his gun and shot the dude in the belly right then and there, and this is all caught on camera, we're not having this conversation. But he was on the guy's back. Guy was face down, and he plugged him in the back of the head. Stoughton sat in the witness box for more than 3 hours as he commented on how officer-created jeopardy, a term that refers to how a cop's actions can put themselves at risk. That played a part in the shooting death of Loyola. The defense objected to discussion of officer-created jeopardy. We ask the court not to accept this theory. It has no bearing whatsoever on this matter. Well, I don't know how that could be. The judge disagreed and said, proceed. So the guy did. Officer created jeopardy played a relevant role. Particularly, the expert witness said Scher put himself at risk when he chased after Loya, who ran from the then officer after failing to produce his driver's license. In doing so, Stoughton said Scher disregarded the potential threat posed by the passenger. Letting someone flee from a traffic stop for an improper plate is certainly better than getting into a fight and losing or getting shot in the back by an assailant that you couldn't keep an eye on, he said. So what they're saying is, let him go. Stay with the first guy. You got the guy who's ran away, his car, his pal sitting there right there looking at you. Call some backup. Reel in the guy running around on a cold morning with no shoes. Not going to be a problem. Sounds like it makes more sense to me than chasing him down, riding on his back, piggyback style, and then plugging him in the back of the head when you're starting to lose the fight. All right. I am interested in this story. I just don't see, though, how this is going to work out. Nick is here. He says, I think the prosecution is going to muff it by going for second degree. I think manslaughter, they could get a conviction. Chris says, all the city's plow trucks will be parked around the police station when the verdict is read. Chris writes, use of force continuum. I don't know what that means. Well, I tell you what, if he is found not guilty, it's going to be free candy day over at Kilwin's downtown. My man Bob Kaiser. He gave away so much free candy during the last riot. I think there was a riot with, what's the name of the guy who the cop kneeled on? George Floyd. Oh, the George Floyd riot was intense. Kaiser had, just before that hit, Kaiser closed up shop, and he had just made all these strawberry-covered or chocolate-covered strawberries. That was in the window. You know, come get your strawberries. This is a high-end confectionery place. A bunch of assholes broke the fucking windows and raided all the strawberries and took the ice cream. That is known forever as Free Kilwin's Candy Day. Whenever there's a riot in downtown Grand Rapids, I go, Bob, why didn't you do like when there's a hurricane in South Beach and put up the plywood? He goes, I didn't even think about it. Everything. I go, oh, God. You're at the best corner for riots, too. It's right at Bob's place is in the shadow of the Rosa Parks statue. So that's like the main focal point for Black Power in our city. So if the shit's about to hit the fan, everybody goes to the Rosa Parks statue. They put a fist in the air, and then they turn around. And the first thing they see is this high-end chocolatier with white people. Translation, ass kicking. Free candy day. Patrick says, was it Samaritan at my crack about the ice cream being stolen? It's always remarkable when that reference is made, how much I want to go down into that wormhole of that film Samaritan. Tyler says, no, Samaritan was rendered useless because they took all of the ice cream. You see, now we're combining fantasy and real life. There is no real superhero called Samaritan. That is a fictitious character of a Amazon Prime movie played by Sylvester Stallone. He is the superhero, the retired superhero, Samaritan. Not a lot of people have seen this movie because it looks so shitty. If you take one look at the trailer for Samaritan, you will understand why this was such a dumpster fire. Now, I don't know if they referenced the ice cream thing in the trailer. I will once again open up that Pandora's box about the superhero Samaritan and ice cream. Nick says, didn't you get some flack for posting about that famous local slut that got arrested for rioting? I don't remember. Probably. West Michigan does have a famous local slut. I don't remember her name. But there is a reason why she is referred to as a famous local slut. Before I get to the Samaritan commentary again, this person who Nick refers to as a famous local slut, she was involved in breaking of windows with Free Candy Day from the George Floyd riot. And she was arrested, and I think she's had ever since this one particular incident that I'm going to discuss with you has taken place, she's had a few instances where she's been in the news. And every time, she looks more and more rough. What started out as the first introduction to the world to this person, I don't even remember her name. Over the years, there were various infamous moments that you'd see her picture again, and every single one, it looked like like 1 year would pass, and it looked like she gained 15 years. Like she looked like a ran-through mom at about age 42 when she was about 23. A local teen, prior to becoming of age, attended one of the local high schools. And there was a moment when she and a teen boy were doing what young people do, I guess. Well, anyway, she was on the business end of his ding-dong. And they were both, it was like in a parking lot. And everybody's around him going, yeah! And, watching this happen. And so people shot videos of this and still images. And then this all ended. And then the pictures show up online. And one of the pictures, in addition to the scene I was just describing to you, was a picture of, you know how like when you're at the dentist and the dentist is going, all right, say ah, and you go, ah. She was doing that, except what had been part of the boy's genetic makeup has now left his body, and it's resting in her mouth. These are children. And so there's now child porno everywhere. And it goes all the way around the world, like 10 times. And the poor mom and the dad and the whole family of this kid, they're all like, oh, my God, holy fuck. Like, can you imagine that? I mean, I think I would rather have, like, if one of my daughters, if I had a choice between having her, like, say something racist online or kill somebody or have this happen, I would take the first two. Tyler says they were the kid of a family friend, I recall. I don't think so. I don't think I indicated that. So that happened. That was awful. And those images still exist. Like, if you type in the right thing, you can find that. But just know this. You're looking at child porno at that point. And I don't think any of you wants kiddie porno coming face to face with your eyes. It's probably a good idea to never, ever seek out kiddie porno. Tophus says, did anyone get arrested for taking those pics? There was a lot that went on, and I think that was one of the variables, how the dissemination of child pornography was part of the investigation. I just tried to forget it because the images got sent to us, and we had no idea what this was. When we opened it, we're like, oh, my God, what am I looking at? And then we see the story after the images arrive. We're like, holy fuck, get this off our phones. Holy shit, this is terrible. Well, this kid, I think as time passed, there was misstep after misstep that were like public. And I don't know what the hell happened to her. It would not surprise me if she's dead. So anyway, she was involved in the riot during the George Floyd thing. But at that point, she was in her 20s, so I don't know if she was walking around like spitting jizz on people at that point and then stealing the free ice cream from free ice cream days or what. In case you're wondering why I sound weird, I just threw a cough drop in. All right, that is Act 1 of the podcast. Act 2 is available right after this one. Go check it out. What are you doing? Don't miss a second of it. Thank you so much.